Hello and welcome. My name is Marc Blatstein, and I specialize as a physician prison consultant with a strong background in managing felony convictions. With more than 30 years of clinical practice, I've transitioned to medical legal consulting, concentrating on pre-sentence interview preparation strategies for reducing your sentence. As a licensed physician who has personally navigated the courts and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, I provide insights that are both professionally informed and pragmatically grounded. I recognize the anxiety and critical choices that are faced when approaching sentencing. I'm here to collaborate with you, ensuring you are fully prepared for your pre-sentence interview, an essential yet frequently overlooked process that can greatly affect your sentencing outcome, the facility you're placed in, and your chances for early release. While I cannot offer guarantees, since the decisions made by judges or the Bureau of Prisons is ultimately unpredictable, I can emphasize that inadequate pre-sentence interview preparation often leads individuals to being defined solely by their charges. I invite you to consider what I can offer as a valuable resource in this challenging time. If you see a potential benefit in my services, please feel free to reach out to me at 240-888-7778. Today, I'm going to discuss fraud, a viable noun where it's a crime of gaining money or financial benefits by either tricks or lying to the other individual. And so, specifically, financial fraud. And today, I'm going to discuss PPP, COVID-19 relief fraud funding. And this was started during the 2019, 2020, and the 2021 partially for those companies that needed an assist during the COVID pandemic. It was worldwide, and here in the United States, the funds were made available. And yet, people are still coming under the watchful eye of the Department of Justice. They have an endless deep pocket to spend financially to find those individuals who abuse that funding. And they are an equal opportunity. As you can see here on the screen, it doesn't matter whether it was 1.5 million, 20,000, or 850,000. And so I'm going to try and move from one screen to another seamlessly. So this shows 1.5 million, and a dermatologist in Washington State who tried to get the funding for anything other than what it was needed. We have next to that person a woman in Jacksonville, Florida, who was only for $20,000. But as I said, Department of Justice appears to be equal opportunity when she addressed the Paycheck Protection Program, and they faced up to 20 years in federal prison. And lastly, the third number, which was $850,000. And this was in the middle district of Pennsylvania. And again, they saw that the money was not being used appropriately. And they have, as I said, endless deep pockets. And so you just don't want to put your life and your future at stake for that kind of funding, because you can wake up one morning to what we call the alphabet soup agencies at your front door, meaning that it's state police, it's federal police, it's Department of Justice, it's, if you're a physician, it's state medical boards. It can be whatever the local municipalities have for law enforcement, and they're all lined up waiting to come into your home and place of business. And so it is just not worth it at all, because you can elect to go to trial or go to a plea. That's a decision between you and your attorney. But the very first decision you need to make is you need legal representation. And you need to make sure that the attorney has experience in cases like yours, and it practices federal criminal defense and federal criminal court. Sounds kind of simple, but it's important to know. What I do, and those who practice what I in the field that I practice, is that our preparation is beyond legal. We don't practice. I don't practice law. It's beyond the legal. So specifically here, if you have a medical condition and you need to have your medical record prepared before you get into your pre-sentence interview date. All those records need to be presented a week or so before you have your interview. Are you taking prescriptions? In fact, all of the records and everything the probation officer wants should be, spell checked, cataloged correctly, organized correctly, and presented a week or so before you meet them. The prescriptions that you're on, are they available through the Bureau of Prisons? If they're on their non-formulary list, guess what? You're not going to get them. And so you need to have a plan, as to whether they're not available or if they're on that list. Have you prepared, and have you and your attorney encouraged you to prepare your personal history? What are your plans for after release? Have you begun to prepare an allocution ready before your pre-sentence interview so that you can have a conversation with your judge? All of these are very important. And guess what? This is not me telling you this or sharing this with you, because I too was convicted of a felony in 2006. I got my medical license back, but I'm not preaching to you as an attorney. I've learned all these skills and more in the last 15, 20 years, because federal judges, Patrick Schultz, it's surprising how many otherwise competent lawyers punt at the sentencing hearing. Judge Robert Scalia, don't wait to think about sentence advocacy, because 99% of federal criminal clients will be facing sentencing. Start preparing for the case early on. In other words, everything that preparing for your, even though you think you're going to go to trial and maybe you're going to get off, even though it's only maybe 1 or 2% are acquitted, all of this information should be started day one. And the importance of writing your personal narrative, including in your pre-sentence report, I'm recommending it, but I didn't say it. This is Federal Judge Mark Bennett. I hope you found this helpful. My contact information, that I wrote this article or co-authored it in the Federal Lawyer 2021, The Critical Role of the Pre-Sentence Report. I still have my medical license. White collar sentencing mitigation solutions. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for taking your time to listen in. Stay safe.